What if the solid matter you touch is not a thing at all, but a specific frequency of a single universal thought that is currently thinking you into existence? We have been taught to look at the stars as distant, cold furnace engines of gas and fire, and at our own bodies as biological machines destined to decay. But the ancient mystery schools and the forgotten geniuses of our modern era suggest a far more intimate reality. Imagine the universe not as a cold, empty vacuum filled with debris, but as a living, breathing, and infinitely intelligent mind in a state of perpetual rhythmic meditation. In the early 20th century, a man named Walter Russell, often called the modern Leonardo da Vinci, claimed to have experienced a period of profound illumination that lasted 39 days. During this time, he perceived the underlying structure of reality, not as a collection of separate objects, but as a unified field of light he called the God Mind. He proposed that what we perceive as solid is merely a rhythmic mirage, a vibration of light that tricks our senses into seeing division where there is only unity. There is a specific geometric pattern to this intelligence that determines everything from the spiral of a galaxy to the pulsing of your own veins, and understanding this pattern might be the hidden key to what the ancients called the path of ascension. First, we will peel back the layers of the material illusion to see the silent, still mind that sustains every atom of your being. Then we will decode the secret language of the universe, the rhythmic, balanced interchange, which governs every breath you take and every star that burns in the night sky. We will explore the specific gateways to accessing this cosmic awareness in your daily life, and why the process of ascension is not about leaving this world behind, but about finally waking up to the power you hold within it. By the end of this journey, we will face the most staggering implication of all, the realization that your consciousness is not a product of your brain, but a direct extension of the infinite itself. So, if everything around you is actually a thought form vibrating in a sea of light, then whose mind are you currently standing inside of? We often perceive ourselves as isolated islands of awareness, adrift in a vast and indifferent sea of matter. We look at the world through the windows of our eyes and assume that reality is out there, while our thoughts are safely tucked away in here, inside the dark, private vault of the skull. But this perception is the primary veil that Walter Russell sought to lift. To understand the God mind, we must first abandon the idea that your brain is a factory that produces consciousness. Instead, imagine your brain as a highly sophisticated radio receiver. The music you hear doesn't originate inside the radio. It is a broadcast that exists everywhere simultaneously, invisibly permeating the room you are sitting in right now. The radio simply has the hardware to catch a specific frequency and translate it into sound. In this same way, you do not possess a mind, you are a localized expression of the mind. This shift in perspective deconstructs everything we think we know about the physical world. For centuries, mainstream science has operated on the assumption that the universe is made of tiny, hard bits of matter, like billiard balls knocking against each other in the dark. We are told that if we just smash these particles hard enough, we will find the building blocks of existence. Yet, the further we descend into the subatomic realm, the more matter seems to vanish, leaving only vibration and mathematical probability in its wake. Walter Russell's vision went beyond even the most radical quantum theories of his time. He saw that what we call matter is actually an electric wave of light, frozen into a temporary form by the power of thought. He proposed that the entire universe is a single unified thought form, a masterpiece of cosmic imagination that is being continuously projected from a center of absolute stillness. This brings us to a fundamental question that challenges the very core of our identity. What if every spiritual tradition that spoke of awakening or enlightenment was not describing the acquisition of new knowledge, but the removal of a specific type of interference? If the God mind is the source of all intelligence and creativity, then you are not a separate being trying to reach God. You are an extension of that intelligence, temporarily narrowed down into a human perspective to experience the beauty of its own creation. We often feel small and insignificant against the backdrop of the cosmos, but Russell's paradigm suggests the opposite. You are the point where the infinite focuses itself into the finite. You are the eyes through which the universe looks at its own stars. This is not merely a comforting poetic sentiment. It is a structural reality of the cosmos. There is a specific mechanism, a divine law of motion, that allows this universal thought form to appear as solid matter, as stars, and as people. Russell called it the law of balance, and it reveals that everything you see is in a state of constant rhythmic exchange. You have likely felt this in moments of deep intuition, or during those strange flashes of déjà vu, when the boundary between you and the world seems to blur. This happens because you are momentarily tuning into the broader broadcast of the God mind. But how does this immense thinking universe actually move? How does a single thought become a galaxy? To understand that, we have to look closer at the cosmic pulse that beats in the heart of every atom and learn how to align our own rhythm with the music of the spheres. To step into the world of Walter Russell is to enter a reality where nothing is static and everything is a performance. He called the fundamental law of the universe the rhythmic balanced interchange. This is the first great pillar of understanding the God mind. Imagine for a moment the act of breathing. You cannot simply inhale forever, nor can you exhale indefinitely. Life exists only in the tension and the flow between these two opposites. This is not a struggle, but a dance. Russell proposed that this same principle applies to everything in existence, from the way an atom holds itself together to the way empires rise and fall. When you look at your life, you might see periods of intense gain followed by periods of loss, moments of deep connection followed by isolation. We often interpret these as tragedies or failures, but through the lens of the God mind, they are simply the two halves of a single rhythmic pulse. The universe is constantly giving and re-giving in equal measure, like a cosmic pendulum that never stops. You have experienced this law many times without realizing it. Have you ever noticed how after a period of intense intellectual work, your mind naturally seeks the absolute silence of nature or sleep? Or how a season of profound grief often paves the way for a depth of joy you didn't know you were capable of holding? This is rhythmic balanced interchange in action. It is the universe maintaining its equilibrium. Russell taught that the secret to a successful and harmonious life is not to fight the ebb and flow, but to ensure that your own giving is always balanced by your regiving. In our modern culture, we are obsessed with taking and accumulating, but this creates a rhythmic dissonance. We are trying to inhale without ever exhaling. By understanding this law, you begin to see that every action you take sets off a wave that must eventually return to its source. You are not just a person acting upon the world, you are a rhythmic participant in a cosmic conversation. This concept of balance is not a new discovery, but a rediscovery of a perennial truth. The ancient Vedic seers spoke of Rita, the cosmic order that sustains the heavens and the earth. The Taoists described it as the flow of the yin and the yang, the two complementary forces that emerge from the one. Walter Russell took these ancient spiritual insights and mapped them onto the physics of light and electricity. He showed that when we align ourselves with this rhythm, we stop being victims of circumstance and start becoming masters of our own energy. When you stop resisting the natural cycles of your life, the winters of reflection and the summers of manifestation, you begin to tap into a reservoir of power that is literally universal. The struggle ends when you realize that the universe is not working against you, but moving through you. Here is how you can begin to practice this today. Start by observing the cycles in your immediate environment. Notice the rhythm of your own heart, the way your energy fluctuates throughout the day, and the way your relationships breathe. When you find yourself in a state of lack or frustration, ask yourself, where have I stopped the flow? Am I trying to take without giving, or am I giving until I am empty without allowing myself to receive? The practice is to consciously seek the point of balance. In your daily interactions, try to make every exchange a balanced one. If someone gives you their time, give them your full presence. If you receive a gift, find a way to re-give that value back into the world. You are not just being nice. You are tuning your personal frequency to the fundamental frequency of the God mind. You are becoming a conductor for the cosmic rhythm. But if the universe is a rhythmic dance, we must ask, how does it actually build the things we see? This brings us to the second pillar of Russell's wisdom, which he called the two-way motion of the mind, or the divine seesaw of concentration and decentration. This is the mechanism by which thought becomes matter. Imagine an accordion. To create a sound, the accordion must be compressed and then expanded. Russell argued that the God mind uses light in exactly this way. Concentration is the inward pressing force that winds light into dense, solid spheres, what we call matter, suns, and bodies. Decentration is the outward releasing force that unwinds that light back into the stillness of space. Your very body is a concentrated knot of light, held together by the intense focus of the universal mind. When that focus relaxes, the body dissolves back into the source, This reveals a staggering truth about your own power of thought. Every time you focus your mind with intense desire, you are engaging the concentrative power of the universe. You are literally pulling the invisible light of the God mind into a visible form. This is why great geniuses, artists, and inventors often speak of their work as if it already existed, and they simply had to bring it through. They are using the same mechanics that build a star. Conversely, when you meditate or enter a state of deep relaxation, you are practicing decentration. You are allowing the boundaries of your ego to unwind, returning your awareness to the infinite stillness from which you came. Most of us spend our lives trapped in an unbalanced state of overconcentration, constant stress, constant doing, constant thinking. We are like springs that have been wound so tight they are about to snap. In the ancient tradition of alchemy, this was known as solve et coagula, dissolve and coagulate. It is the process of breaking things down to their essence and then rebuilding them into a higher form. Walter Russell showed that this isn't just a metaphor for the soul, but a literal description of how the physical world functions. Nature is an endless cycle of winding and unwinding. A tree winds the sun's light into wood and leaves through concentration, and then through fire or decay, it unwinds that light back into the atmosphere through decentration. By recognizing these two motions within yourself, you gain the ability to navigate your mental and emotional states with precision. You learn that your down periods are not a lack of progress, but a necessary decentration, a gathering of energy before the next great winding of your purpose. To apply this, start using what Russell called the science of rest. True rest is not just sitting on a couch. It is the intentional act of decentering your mind. Once a day, practice letting go of every specific thought, every goal, and every identity you hold. Imagine yourself expanding outward until you are as vast as the space between the stars. Feel the tension of your physical form dissolving. Then, when you return to your work, do so with a sharp, concentrated focus, knowing that you are drawing from an infinite well of light. You will find that your creativity becomes more potent because it is backed by the full power of the cosmic seesaw. But as these motions occur, they follow a specific map. The universe doesn't move randomly. It moves through a hidden geometry that Russell believed was the ultimate blueprint of all creation. This brings us to the most visually arresting part of Russell's work, the marriage of the cube and the sphere. To Russell, these were not just shapes, but the primary tools of the God mind. He proposed that all manifest matter is contained within invisible cubic wave fields. If you could see the true structure of the space you are sitting in, you would see that it is divided into a vast grid of cubes. The sphere represents the unseen source, the stillness, and the perfect unity of God. The cube represents the seen world of limitation, form, and gravity. Every object you see is a sphere of light, trying to find its balance within a cubic frame. This is why planets are round, why cells are spherical, and why even your eyes are orbs. They are the concentrated expressions of the infinite seeking to manifest within the finite boundaries of space. This geometry is the secret language that Pythagoras and the builders of the great cathedrals understood. They knew that certain proportions and shapes resonate with the underlying structure of reality. When you stand in a space built with sacred geometry, you feel a sense of peace because your own internal geometry is being reminded of its source. Russell's insight was that you are the bridge between these two shapes. Your inner self is the sphere, infinite, whole, and without edges. Your outer life, your body, and your social roles are the cube, structured, defined, and limited. The secret to spiritual ascension is not to escape the cube, but to perfectly center the sphere of your awareness within it. When the sphere is centered, the cube becomes a palace. When it is off-center, the cube becomes a prison. Have you ever felt off balance in your life, as if things were slightly tilted or out of alignment? According to Russell, this is a geometric reality. It means the sphere of your consciousness has drifted away from the 0 point of stillness at the center of your cubic wave field. This displacement creates the friction we experience as stress, illness, and anxiety. We are trying to force reality to fit our desires instead of centering our desires within the natural geometry of the mind. The ancients called this squaring the circle, the impossible task of bringing the divine and the human into perfect union. Russell suggested that this union is not impossible. It is the very purpose of our existence. We are here to manifest the infinite beauty of the sphere through the structured precision of the cube. The practice here is one of visualization and centering. Whenever you feel overwhelmed by the edges of your life, the deadlines, the conflicts, the physical limitations, visualize a perfect, luminous sphere at the very center of your chest. See this sphere as a point of absolute, unshakable stillness. Then imagine a vast cube of light surrounding you, representing your physical world. Visualize the sphere growing until it perfectly touches the 6 sides of the cube. This creates a state of equipoise. You are acknowledging that while you live in a world of form and limits, your core is limitless and free. By holding this mental image, you are literally recentering your energy field within the God mind. You are moving from the chaos of the periphery to the power of the center. This leads us to the 4th and perhaps most profound pillar of this journey, the stillness within the storm. Russell often spoke of the 0 point, or the silent center. He observed that in every hurricane there is a center of perfect calm, and in every spinning wheel there is a hub that does not move. The more powerful the movement on the outside, the more absolute the stillness must be on the inside. This is the ultimate secret of the God mind. The universe is in a state of violent, high-speed motion, but that motion is only possible because it is anchored in the absolute silence of God. Most of us are trying to find peace by changing the weather of our lives, trying to stop the wind and the rain. But true peace is found by moving your awareness from the storm to the eye. This is the essence of what Russell called cosmic consciousness. It is the ability to stand in the middle of a chaotic life and remain perfectly connected to the silent source. It is the inner citadel of the Stoics and the emptiness of the Buddhists. It is the realization that your true identity is not the person who is suffering, achieving, or struggling, but the silent witness who is observing it all. When you touch this stillness, you are touching the God mind directly. You realize that you don't need to reach for higher awareness because you are already made of it. You are the stillness that allows the motion to happen. The only reason you don't feel it is that you are too busy looking at the spinning wheel and have forgotten about the hub. The practical application of this is the 2-minute pause. Several times a day, regardless of what you are doing, stop for exactly 2 minutes. Do not try to meditate. Simply try to find the hub of the moment. If you are in a loud city, listen to the silence that exists behind the noise. If you are in a stressful meeting, feel the stillness of the chair beneath you. Notice that there is always a layer of reality that is not moving, not judging, and not changing. By repeatedly returning to this silent center, you begin to build a bridge between your daily ego and your cosmic self. You are training yourself to be in the world, but not of it. You are preparing for the final step of this journey, the active transmutation of your reality. Now that we understand the rhythms, the motions, and the geometry of the God mind, we can finally discuss the goal, the alchemist of thought. This is the culmination of Russell's path. Once you know that you are an extension of the universal mind, you realize that your desires are not just random cravings. They are the God mind's way of seeking a new form of expression through you. You are the sculptor, and the light of the universe is your clay. But a sculptor cannot work if they are shaking. You must be still to create. Most people fail to manifest their dreams because they are trying to force them into existence through the ego. They are trying to build the cube without the sphere. True ascension is the process of becoming a conscious co-creator. It means taking the principles of rhythmic balanced interchange and applying them to your goals. It means knowing when to concentrate your effort and when to decenter and let the universe take over. It means understanding that every thought you hold is a seed of light planted in the garden of the God mind. If you plant a seed of fear, the rhythmic universe must re-give you a harvest of fear. If you plant a seed of abundance, it must re-give you abundance. This is not positive thinking, it is cosmic mechanics. You are literally weaving the fabric of your future out of the light of your present awareness. The practice for this final stage is the still point manifestation. Instead of visualizing what you want, go to the silent center we discussed earlier. In that state of absolute stillness, hold the feeling of your desire as if it is already a completed fact. Do not think about the how, just feel the quality of the light. Then release it, decenter. Trust that the rhythmic interchange of the universe is already moving to bring that thought into form. You are not asking for a favor. You are directing the motion of the God mind. As you master this, you begin to realize that your personal evolution is not a solo mission. It is part of a much larger collective shift. But as we move toward this realization, we encounter a mystery that defies all logic. If you are the one creating your reality, then who is the one watching you do it? We have traveled through the mechanics of the cosmic rhythm, the geometry of light, and the silent center of the storm. But now we must face the most profound and perhaps most destabilizing realization of all. Here is where the path of Walter Russell takes a turn into a territory that challenges the very foundation of how you perceive your existence. We often speak of our higher self as if it were a separate entity, a guardian angel or a distant version of our soul waiting for us at the end of a long spiritual evolution. But what if that perspective is another rhythmic mirage? What if the God mind is not a destination you are moving toward, but a state of being you have never actually left? Think of a movie projector in a darkened theater. On the screen you see a world of action, heroes, villains, and epic landscapes. You see time passing, characters aging, and stories unfolding. From the perspective of the characters on the screen, life is a sequence of events moving from the past into the future. But if you turn around and look back at the booth, you see a single, unchanging light passing through a film. The light is not the movie, yet the movie cannot exist without the light. Walter Russell's ultimate revelation was that you are not the character on the screen, you are the light in the projector. Your entire life, with all its struggles, joys, and complex rhythms, is a flickering shadow play created by the light of your own consciousness, passing through the film of your beliefs and desires. The paradox is this: while you are experiencing the motion of life, the core of your being remains in absolute stillness. You are the silent center of your own universe. And here is the twist that rewrites everything. If the God mind is truly infinite and timeless, then there is no such thing as a future you that is more evolved than you are right now. What we call the higher self might literally be you, existing in a state of timelessness, having already lived through this moment and every moment to follow. Imagine that the intuition you feel, those strange pulls of synchronicity, and that quiet voice of guidance are not coming from a God in the clouds, but from your own completed self, reaching backward through the rhythmic waves of time to nudge you toward your own awakening. You are your own creator, sending echoes of light from the finish line to the starting blocks. This realization shifts the weight of your entire existence. If you're a direct extension of the God mind, then you're not a victim of a random mechanical universe. You are an architect who has temporarily forgotten how to use his tools. This brings us to the profound responsibility of the awakening process. To live in the God mind is to realize that every thought you project into the cubic wave field of your life is a command to the light. We have been taught that our thoughts are private and powerless, but Russell showed that they are the primary electric force of the cosmos. Every time you harbor a thought of lack, every time you dwell on fear, and every time you judge another, you are misaligning the rhythm of your universe. You are creating a dissonance that the law of balanced interchange must eventually correct. This is the true meaning of the responsibility of the awakening. It is not about gaining special powers or escaping the physical world. It is about the ethical imperative of maintaining the balance. If you want to see a world of peace, you must first become the silent hub of peace within your own storm. If you want to experience abundance, you must first master the rhythmic act of re-giving. You are the receiver we discussed earlier, but you are also the transmitter. Your daily life is the feedback loop of your own soul. The challenges you face are not punishments. They are the rhythmic responses of the universe, trying to guide your sphere back to its center. When you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What rhythm is this reflecting back to me?" the doors of ascension begin to swing open. As we look at the implications of this shift, we see that it changes how we view every human being we encounter. If there is only one God mind, then there are no truly separate people. Every person you meet is another localized broadcast of the same infinite music. They are another version of you, experiencing a different rhythm, a different geometry, and perhaps a different level of interference. When you harm another, you are literally creating a ripple that must return to your own center. When you lift another, you are enhancing the brightness of the light that illuminates your own screen. The path of spiritual ascension is therefore a path of radical empathy and total integration. It is the realization that the other is just another point of focus in the same mind that is currently thinking you. But how do we live this in a world that seems so far removed from these truths? The world we see on the news, the world of conflict, scarcity, and noise, is a world that has lost its center. It is a world where the cube has been worshipped and the sphere has been forgotten. We are living in a global state of overconcentration, a wound-up spring that is reaching its limit. This is why the work of Walter Russell is more relevant now than ever. We are at a point of collective transition, a moment where we must either find our silent center or be overwhelmed by the motion. Your personal ascension, your choice to align your rhythm with the God mind, is not a selfish act. It is your contribution to the rebalancing of the world. Every individual who finds their stillness creates a static-free zone in the collective broadcast, making it easier for others to hear the music. So we are left with the great cosmic dilemma, the mystery that has haunted the mystics of all ages. The ancient Hermetic text, the Emerald Tablet, captured it in the phrase, "As above, so below, as within, so without." This is not just a poetic rhyme. It is a structural description of the God mind. If the entire cosmos is a thought form, and that thought form is inside of you, then the stars are not distant at all. The galaxies are not billions of light years away. They are internal phenomena, perceived through the lens of your physical senses. You are not a speck of dust in a vast universe. You are the vast universe experiencing itself through a speck of dust. The hunt for the truth about our reality always leads back to the same place, the person who is looking for the truth. We search for God in the heavens, in the ancient texts and in the complex equations of physics. We look for answers in the words of others and in the mysteries of the past. But Walter Russell's life and work suggest that the answer is not a piece of information you can acquire. It is a quality of being you must remember. The ultimate mystery is not what the universe is made of, but who is the one asking the question. As you move back into your daily rhythm, remember the silence that exists behind these words. Remember the sphere of stillness at your center and the rhythmic dance of giving and re-giving that sustains your breath. You are a conscious co-creator in a universe of light, and the masterpiece of your life is currently being painted by the focus of your own mind. The God mind is not watching you from a distance. It is experiencing life as you, with you, and through you. So here is the final question, the one that can never truly be answered, only experienced. If consciousness is the ground of all being, and you are that consciousness exploring its own infinite potential through this temporary human form, then who or what is the one currently listening to the silence that follows these words? If these ideas resonate with your own journey into the unknown, consider subscribing to the channel. This space is not a destination where final answers are handed out, but a campfire where we gather to discuss the deeper questions that have no end. The mysteries of the God mind, the cosmic rhythms, and the geometry of our souls are vast, and we are only just beginning to decode the broadcast. There are no experts here, only fellow hunters, and perhaps the greatest discovery we can make is that the truth we have been hunting was the one doing the hunting all along. The hunt continues.